Welcome to Block and Wealth. This is the show where we take your most important sources, your notes, your research, and really distill them down.
That's right. We aim to get you those crucial insights you need to be truly well-informed, but, without all the overwhelm. Today, we're on a mission, really, to reframe how you think about wealth. Profoundly. Our source material for this deep dive, it includes the Block and Wealth podcast script, Your Wealth Improves. Once you have more ideas effortlessly by Justice O. Malcolm.
That's right. And if you've always thought wealth is mostly about money, or maybe just pure hard work, well, get ready for a bit of a paradigm shift. This dive is really going to challenge that whole assumption. It reveals why true, sustainable wealth today doesn't actually start in your bank account. It starts squarely in your mind, specifically with your cultivated ability to generate valuable ideas effortlessly.
Yeah, it's like a call to move beyond those old models, right? And unlock a really powerful new leverage point in your life. So ready to maybe rewire how you think about creating things, about abundance.
Okay, let's unpack this. So for so long, we've kind of been conditioned, haven't we,
Right.
to believe that wealth is just, accumulating capital, or maybe hitting the timing just right, or even having some kind of exclusive insider access. But the sources we're digging into today, especially that Your Wealth Improves book, they argue this belief is increasingly a relic. It really stems from like an industrial era economy, one that rewarded just following orders, doing repetitive tasks.
Compliance.
Exactly, not the kind of dynamic, creative thinking that really drives value today. And what's really revolutionary here, I think, is this assertion that we're deep into what they call the idea economy. In this new landscape, your most valuable asset, it isn't tangible at all. It's your intellectual agility. The material really highlights this, that the single most underrated skill among the truly wealthy, it isn't just their investing smarts or their network. It's their deep capacity to generate ideas effortlessly. The freer your mind is to, conjure things up, connect dots, conceive, the more inherent value you create. And from that creation, wealth just flows.
Right. And crucially, this isn't just random stuff popping into your head.
No, not at all.
The sources really emphasize rich, resonant, purpose-driven ideas.
Yeah.
These are the mental blueprints, basically, the ones that can become groundbreaking businesses or elegant solutions to really tough problems or, innovative systems, entirely new income streams that actually make a difference.
And this brings us to a really key insight. This effortless ideation. It's not some magic gift for a chosen few. It's actually a learned skill. You hone it through intentional practice. The sources really push back against that scarcity mindset, the one that says there's only a limited pool of good ideas. Instead, they argue it's about aligning your internal framework with abundance, training your brain to allow ideas to surface rather than like desperately chasing them. The core message is huge. Money doesn't create vision. Vision, born from clear ideas, is what attracts the money.
It's amazing to see this actually play out, not just in theory, right?
Definitely.
And the sources give some really compelling examples. Think about Apple. Their success wasn't built on owning more factories than anyone else. It was superior vision, that relentless focus on design.
Big idea.
Exactly. And Tesla, they didn't dominate by having more steel plants. They disrupted the whole idea of what a car could even be.
Yeah, the electric future concept.
And then you've got Airbnb and Uber. I mean, they didn't own hotels or cars.
Right, no physical assets like that.
Yeah, they own concepts, groundbreaking models for connecting people. Once those ideas really found their footing, their frequency, the capital, the customers, the growth, it all followed the idea. The idea came first.
And this is such a stark contrast to how most of us are, educated and conditioned, right? We're taught to look outside for instructions, to consume information, follow the established blueprints. This conditioning, which is pretty deep-seated, often just blocks our natural, innate creativity. But the truth is, as these sources reveal, ideas are everywhere, absolutely everywhere. They're woven into conversations, they're embedded in books, they show up in dreams, they're hidden inside the problems you face every day, and you can see them in the patterns you notice. They are basically latent assets, just waiting for us to recognize them and, activate them.
It is pretty counterintuitive, isn't it? We're so often taught to equate value with intense effort, with the grind.
Right, hustle culture.
But the sources point out that some of our most brilliant insights, our most powerful ideas, they often pop up during quiet walks, or in the shower, or even when we're just daydreaming, seemingly doing nothing productive.
Yeah, those moments of non-effort.
And this is key.
Yeah.
Effortless doesn't mean valueless. Not at all. It's about realizing that profound value can come from tapping into a more natural, abundant creative flow. Just imagine for a second. What if every spontaneous idea, every little intuitive nudge you get, what if you treated it with the same respect as a financial asset?
Wow.
Would you just dismiss it? Or would you capture it, nurture it, see where it might lead? That one mental shift, treating your ideas like real capital that could radically change your whole wealth path.
In this foundational belief shift, it's absolutely paramount. The sources are really clear. Ideas are not a finite resource. They're infinite, like constantly flowing rivers, always renewing, always accessible. The only real shortage isn't in the ideas themselves. It's in our own limiting belief that they're scarce or somehow unavailable to us.
That makes so much sense, doesn't it?
It really does.
Our minds are incredibly responsive to what we expect. If you genuinely start to believe that inspiration is always nearby, always within reach, your mind just becomes more alert, more open, way more receptive to those subtle signals, you know? You actually start to build a relationship with your deeper creative intelligence, not just the analytical part that crunches data.
And crucially, this belief isn't just passive thinking. It directly enables action. I mean, if you don't trust that ideas will come, why would you make space for them?
Right.
You wouldn't keep a notebook handy, you wouldn't pause to reflect, you wouldn't ask those deeper, more incisive questions that unlock breakthroughs. It's actually kind of a tragedy for many talented people. They never fully trust the ideas that are already trying to reach them, so they end up constantly chasing somebody else's plan, somebody else's blueprint, instead of tuning into the unique wisdom bubbling up in their own minds.
And this abundance mindset, it brings this incredible sense of freedom, doesn't it? Freedom from scarcity. You stop hoarding your ideas, being so precious about your creativity. Instead, you start to share more freely. You test things out. You see yourself more as a conduit for ideas, not just a container holding them tight.
Exactly. And that's precisely when ideas start to multiply exponentially. You're no longer clinging desperately to that one perfect idea. You're iterating through hundreds, maybe, quickly finding out which ones resonate, which ones evolve, which ones are actually ready for the world.
Yeah, it frees you up to just experiment constantly.
Right. And that, the sources strongly suggest, is exactly where sustainable wealth really grows, in that experimentation. And what's really insightful about this shift is how it completely flips your view of competition.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, when you operate from scarcity, you see a limited pie, right?
Yeah, like there's only so much to go around.
Exactly. So you believe there's only room for a few winners, which leads to constant comparison, constant competition. It's exhausting. But with an abundance mindset, you realize your unique perspective, your specific blend of experiences, insights, your way of expressing things. It's fundamentally unreproducible.
Ah, okay. So no one else has your exact combination.
Precisely. No one can replicate the full texture of your mind, your voice, or your unique timing and context. And once you really internalize that deeply, envy just kind of dissolves. Your mind transforms into this powerful workshop, consistently attracting wealth simply by being a unique, reliable source of value that comes from clear thinking.
Okay, so we've established wealth really starts in the mind. And that abundance mindset is crucial. But the big question for a lot of us, I think, is how do you actually do that? How do you cultivate that effortless creativity?
Right, the practical how-to.
Yeah, and the sources tackle this directly. They address that common idea that just trying harder, putting in more effort, always leads to clarity.
Which isn't always true.
Exactly. They reveal that forcing creativity often just pushes it further away. The really impactful ideas, the ones that resonate and generate wealth, they tend to emerge in moments of openness, in that state of flow.
And flow, in this context, isn't some vague, mystical thing. The sources actually break down its mechanics. It's when ideas feel like they're just arriving, organically, where you're focused more on momentum than getting it perfect. When you're speaking with truthfulness rather than trying too hard to be clever, it's really about systematically removing resistance. Whether that's external noise, like distractions, or internal stuff like insecurity or too much pressure or that paralyzing fear of getting it wrong. When those resistances are high, your mind often just defaults to survival mode, right? And that effectively blocks original thought.
So to minimize that resistance, you absolutely have to protect your mental clarity.
Yes, guard it.
This means intentionally building moments into your day, your week, where your nervous system can actually settle down. It means consciously turning down the constant barrage of input notifications, screens, the pressure to be on 24/7.
Create that space.
And surprisingly, maybe allowing yourself to actually experience boredom.
Yeah, that one's counterintuitive for many.
But boredom, as they suggest, is often the gateway to those deeper breakthroughs. And, crucially, it means trusting the first draft of your mind, allowing ideas to come up without immediately judging them. Don't shoot down an idea just because it feels raw or incomplete.
That premature judgment is such a creativity killer. And the sources really emphasize that creativity operates on its own rhythm. It's distinct. Unlike, say, manual labor, it thrives in environments that offer space, silence, and a bit of spontaneity. A really powerful practice, they suggest, is to become super aware of when and where your best ideas naturally show up.
Ah, like finding your personal creative hotspots.
Exactly. For lots of people, it's during movement, a walk, a run, even the commute. For others, it's the quiet of the early morning or maybe late at night. Once you recognize those patterns in yourself, you can then consciously design your schedule around them. Treat those most creative times with the same priority you'd give an important meeting.
That leads right into this powerful concept they mention, the idea muscle.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
They argue pretty convincingly that creativity isn't just some innate gift you either have or don't. It's a discipline, like any other muscle in your body.
And how do you train a muscle?
Through frequency, right? Regular workouts.
Exactly.
So this means engaging in daily idea generation. Even something simple, like list 10 possible solutions to a small problem you encountered today. The goal isn't immediate perfection or finding a $1 million idea every day.
No, it's about building fluency, agility, mental strength.
And consistency, they say, will always beat sporadic bursts of intensity when it comes to this.
And to strengthen that muscle even further, they talk about techniques like variety.
Okay, what's that?
It's about actively cross-pollinating your thoughts, bringing ideas from different fields together. So if you're a designer, try thinking like a biologist for a moment. If you're an entrepreneur, brainstorm like a poet.
Ah, stepping outside your usual box.
Precisely. This intentional broadening leads to more unique, unexpected connections. And then there's idea stacking. You take one raw idea, just a spark, and you challenge yourself. How can I expand this? Stretch it into 10, 20 different directions or applications.
Wow.
It powerfully shows that almost every single idea can be a doorway to many more. It's not just one isolated thing.
And a really critical piece of this whole puzzle is having a reliable capture system.
Absolutely non-negotiable.
Whether it's a notes app, voice memos on the go, or just a small, trusty notebook you always have with you, you need a dependable way to record ideas the moment they arrive.
Because they can be fleeting.
Exactly. And this isn't just some minor admin task. They call it your mental gym locker, your growing bank of intellectual assets. It directly prevents losing valuable insights. And maybe just as important, it consistently builds your confidence as you physically see your inventory of ideas growing.
And finally, the sources really underscore reflection and rest. They're vital, essential for mental growth, for creative recovery. Your mind, just like any muscle, needs downtime to consolidate, to rejuvenate. And maybe the most transformative piece in this whole section is the identity shift they advocate. Seeing yourself fundamentally as an idea generator.
Owning that identity.
Yes. When you truly embody that belief that ideas flow easily to you and through you, your mind becomes so much more willing and able to offer them up. Okay, so let's dig into how these mental sparks actually, become real value, how they translate.
The material is unequivocal here. Ideas aren't just abstract thoughts. They are a potent form of capital. They call it mental capital, which when you capture it, refine it, apply it, it directly becomes financial capital.
Wow. Mental capital to financial capital. Yeah. In today's economy, that line between an original thought and actual income, it's getting thinner and thinner. And sustainable wealth isn't usually from one single massive aha moment. It's about consistently generating valuable ideas over time. Your thoughts are powerful tools. You can craft them, share them, sell them, scale them.
That resonates so much because we can all think of examples, right?
Sure.
Maybe from our own lives or stories we've heard. That casual note you scribbled down in a meeting, it could genuinely be the seed for a six-figure project down the line. Or just a simple question you ask someone could unlock a breakthrough strategy for your business. Or even a weird little observation you have on a walk could morph into a viral concept that reaches millions.
Absolutely.
And the sources point out, successful creators, they don't wait for ideas to be perfectly formed or proven before they start exploring them.
No, they're driven by curiosity.
Yes, curiosity, not this paralyzing need for certainty before they even start.
And this consistent engagement with your ideas, capturing, refining, connecting, testing, it builds what the sources call thought equity.
Thought equity, I like that.
Yeah. The more you consciously work with your ideas, the stronger and more valuable your overall thinking becomes. Your well-crafted content starts generating leads. Your innovative strategy attracts the right clients. Your unique perspective opens doors you couldn't have planned for. And this is big, but this compounding effect only happens if you treat your ideas like actual assets.
Not just accidents.
Exactly. Not just random flashes. It demands capturing them immediately and then doing the mental work of shaping and refining them.
And when you do that consistently, you build up this rich inventory of ideas.
A backlog of potential.
And that's not just about having lots of ideas. It gives you this incredible luxury of discernment, of choice.
Yeah, you're not desperate.
Right. You're not desperate to act on the very first thing that pops into your head. You have the calm confidence to choose strategically, what should I build now? When should I launch this? How can I package it for the most impact?
And beyond just the direct income, this cultivation of mental wealth creates these ripples, It leads to influence. It fosters deeper, more meaningful collaborations. And ultimately, it ushers in this new level of freedom, creative freedom, financial freedom, personal freedom. The material makes a really compelling case that clear thinking is like the new gold.
The new gold.
Yeah, it fundamentally redefines wealth. Not just cash in the bank, but clarity in your mind and this expansive creative range.
And this concept of idea multiplication is fascinating too.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Well, the sources explain that a single idea is rarely just one thing. It almost always contains these hidden doorways to many more.
Okay, like variations on a theme.
Exactly. Variations, expansions, different applications, maybe new audiences it could serve. It's a really powerful way to extract way more value from the thinking you're already doing, making your creative capital work harder for you.
So how do you practice that? The practice starts by intentionally slowing down, taking an idea you already have, and really interrogating it deeply, asking questions like, okay, what else is really in here? What are the underlying assumptions? Who else needs this insight, but maybe in a different format or context?
Digging deeper into what's already there.
Precisely. This disciplined process allows a single core insight to evolve into multiple distinct expressions. And that leads to genuine depth and compounds your authority, rather than just constantly chasing the next shiny new thing.
Okay, so how do we really fuel this idea engine consistently and turn these sparks into actual impact?
Right, the engine itself.
The sources hammer home curiosity as the absolute engine behind every great idea.
It's that inherent willingness to just look closer, to keep asking why, to bravely challenge the assumptions that everyone else just takes for granted. It's about cultivating that habit of asking better questions.
Better questions. What makes a question better in this context?
Questions that intentionally break your usual patterns of thinking. Questions that reframe a situation, maybe turn it on its head. Questions that disrupt conventional wisdom and lead you towards truly original insights. Curiosity thrives when you can just suspend that immediate need to be right, and instead just enthusiastically embrace exploration. The sources point out some of the most profitable ideas ever didn't come from rigid certainty. They came from someone asking a better question, persistently and patiently following where it led.
And another key strategy they mentioned for generating what feels original is remixing.
Yeah. Steal like an artist.
Exactly. The sources powerfully challenge that whole notion of pure originality. They suggest most truly original ideas are actually creative remixes, ingenious combinations of things that already exist.
Building on what's there.
Great thinkers, they say, steal like artists, entrepreneurs, and millionaires. They don't just copy blindly. They filter, they combine, they elevate, they translate existing concepts in new, compelling ways, giving them fresh life and relevance.
So that implies we should consume information differently, too. Like curators, maybe.
Yes, exactly like curators, not just passive sponges.
Actively scan for patterns, underlying structures, powerful metaphors you can borrow and apply to your own work, even draw from fields way outside your usual expertise.
And they also suggest building a swike file.
What's that, like a collection?
Yeah, basically a personal collection of inspiring stuff, content, headlines, cool concepts, designs, anything that sparks something for you. It serves as this dynamic working lab to kind of jumpstart and cross-pollinate your own thinking.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Now this brings us to something huge. Idea confidence.
Oh yeah, this is a big one for many people.
It's such a common struggle, right? Many of us don't actually lack ideas. We struggle to trust them. We dismiss them way too early.
Self-doubt kicks in.
And this isn't necessarily an intellectual problem. It's often a lack of what they call creative permission. that quiet internal trust that your thoughts have inherent value even before anyone else validates them.
And this confidence, the sources explain, it's a skill you build. It's not just something you have or don't have. You build it through consistent repetition, through taking small, calculated creative risks.
Little bets.
Exactly. And shifting your focus fundamentally from seeking external approval to cultivating genuine usefulness in your ideas. Does this help someone? Does it solve a problem? And they also say it's incredibly helpful to consciously surround yourself with people who actually see and affirm your value, people who encourage your thinking, not shoot it down.
That support system is key.
Definitely.
The sources also highlight the massive power of collaborative wealth.
Moving beyond just solo work.
Yeah. They argue that working entirely alone often hits a natural ceiling, but shared ideas, when you discuss them openly, refine them with trusted people. They tend to evolve way faster. They scale wider. They deepen in their impact.
So collaboration isn't a risk, it's actually a multiplier.
Precisely. It multiplies your intellectual capital.
And countering that common fear people have about sharing their ideas.
Like someone might steal it.
Yeah, exactly. The material explains that sharing isn't really a vulnerability in that sense. It's actually an invitation for growth, for deeper insight. Intentional collaboration with carefully chosen, trusted individuals, it leads to huge amplification of your ideas. And it builds in this layer of accountability which demonstrably speeds up execution. Ideas really mature and gain clarity when you test them in that crucible of thoughtful conversation.
Okay, so ultimately, the journey from having an idea to making a real impact, it demands action.
Yes, you got to do something.
Specifically through prototyping, testing, and launching. And this is a crucial point, maybe often misunderstood. Clarity and confidence. They often arrive after you take action, not before.
Right, you don't wait for perfect clarity to start, you create into clarity.
Exactly. You create your way into it.
So prototyping is about creating quick, simple versions of your idea just to get fast feedback.
Like a rough draft.
Yeah, very rough. Testing is about validating if there's real interest, using lightweight, low-risk experiments. And launching just means bringing your idea to life, putting it out there in its initial form to start creating value, even if it's not perfect yet.
And these steps, doing them iteratively, they reduce risks significantly. And they actively invite feedback, which helps you sharpen your intuition and build that creative equity with every single attempt.
Even if that specific attempt isn't a home run, you learn something valuable.
Right. Every attempt builds something. So to sustain this whole journey, right, this whole creative engine,
Yeah, keeping it going.
the sources consistently emphasize that ideation responds beautifully to rhythm, not pressure.
Rhythm, not pressure. I like that.
A daily practice, whether it's that 10 ideas a morning thing or maybe doing stream of consciousness morning pages. Doing it consistently builds mental stamina and agility over time. It becomes a habit.
And there's this really powerful practice they highlighted called idea recycling.
Okay, what's that about? Recycling ideas.
Yeah, it's framed as like a weekly ritual. You intentionally go back through your notes, your capture system, and you revisit and actively expand on unfinished ideas from the past.
Ah, so stuff you jotted down but didn't fully develop.
Exactly. It creates this invaluable continuity between your past thinking and your present thinking. It allows those little fragmented insights to organically evolve into fully formed concepts, maybe even tangible projects. Nothing gets wasted.
That makes sense. Because our active minds, they naturally generate tons of ideas, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes too many.
Which can quickly lead to feeling overwhelmed if we don't have a good system for managing them.
Yeah, that feeling of drowning in ideas.
The sources call this moving from chaos to clarity.
Mm.
And it's a crucial distinction. Feeling overwhelmed isn't a sign you're broken or doing something wrong.
No, it's actually a signal that your mind is deeply engaged and active, which is a good thing.
Right. So the process they detail for managing it involves a few steps.
Yeah.
First, capture everything. Don't judge it yet. Just get it down.
The capture habit again.
Then, later, you diligently filter. Look for the clear signals which ideas still feel alive. Which ones resonate the most right now.
Tune into the energy.
Next, group those resonant ideas into logical categories or themes. And finally, commit to developing and acting on just one idea at a time. Give it your focused attention.
One thing at a time. That's key for avoiding overwhelm. It's also really important to recognize the difference between expansion phases where you're generating broadly, brainstorming, and refinement phases where you need to narrow down, focus, and develop something deeply. Knowing which phase you're in helps avoid internal conflict and makes you more efficient.
And the sources are also really empathetic about acknowledging creative dry seasons.
Yeah, those times when ideas just don't seem to flow.
They say it's a perfectly normal part of the process. It's not some devastating sign that you've lost your touch.
Right. It's more like an invitation, an opportunity to recalibrate, replenish the well, renew things.
So what do they suggest for navigating those dry spells?
Well, they offer several practical strategies. One is to consciously shift from output mode to input mode.
So consume more instead of trying to produce.
Exactly. Absorb widely, read different things, listen to new perspectives, just fill the tank. Another is to reconnect with your fundamental why. Why are you doing this creative work in the first place? Reflection helps here.
Getting back to purpose.
Yeah. Also, experiment by shifting your medium. If you usually write, try drawing. If you usually code, try building something physical.
Shake things up.
Right, and diligently maintain your daily creative rituals, even if nothing brilliant seems to be coming out immediately. Just keep the practice going. Talk openly about the block with someone you trust. Sometimes just verbalizing it helps.
Get out of your head.
Yeah. And maybe most importantly, release the internal pressure to monetize every single idea you have. Let some things just be for exploration. And finally, revisit your past work. Look at things you've created before to gently remind yourself of your capabilities, what you've already accomplished.
That's good advice.
Patience, they stress, is absolutely key. Dry seasons naturally pass when you honor the process and respect your mind's need for these cycles of rest and renewal.
Wow. We have covered a remarkable amount of ground today.
We really have.
And maybe if you're listening, you're feeling what the sources describe, like being at a threshold, sensing there's a next level for you, but maybe you're not quite sure how to get there.
Yeah, that feeling of potential but uncertainty. The sources offer this really encouraging insight, the bridge to that next level. It's very often just one idea away.
Just one idea.
Yeah, one idea that feels authentic to you, that's crystal clear, and that's actionable. They remind us that real growth isn't about becoming someone totally different. It's about courageously discovering and then embodying the next, more expansive version of who you already are.
So it means cultivating this really acute awareness, doesn't it?
Listening closely.
Listening for that quiet signal, that persistent phrase or that problem that just keeps nagging at you won't leave your mind.
Yeah, the thing that keeps coming back.
Idea generation, they emphasize, it's really a life practice. It's ongoing. Your next big opportunity is often disguised as just a simple observation you might otherwise ignore in the middle of your day.
And the ultimate encouragement here is to cultivate that decision, to act on what you see, to trust your own thoughts, and to just build continuously, one idea after another. True wealth, in this really illuminating context, is that powerful alignment between your inner world, your ideas, your intentions, your unique vision, and your tangible outer work in the world. That connection.
And successful creators, as the sources make clear, they didn't just get lucky or stumble into brilliance.
No, it wasn't accidental.
They meticulously built systems, they cultivated empowering beliefs, they established daily habits that reliably produce ideas on their behalf.
It's intentional design, not just raw talent or random flashes of genius.
Yeah, it's about the system, the process.
Ultimately, your next level isn't some big mystery, some elusive thing way out there. It's the direct result of taking one clear idea and acting on it with enough consistency that it becomes a tangible reality. You don't need to be brilliant. You don't need to have all the answers before you start. You just need to be in motion. You really are just one journal session, maybe one transformative conversation, perhaps one intentional post online, or one simple prototype away from unlocking that next really exciting chapter for yourself.
Wow, what a deep dive that was today. We really hope you feel re-energized by this core truth. Your mind is, without a doubt, your greatest asset. And that cultivated ability, the skill of generating valuable ideas effortlessly, that's the most powerful key to unlocking your next level of wealth and impact.
Yeah, maybe just consider for a moment, how might treating your ideas like actual capital and proactively cultivating an environment where they can flourish, how might that radically transform not just your bank account, but your entire sense of creative freedom? What's maybe one idea you've been kind of dismissing lately that deserves a closer, more serious look today?
Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We really encourage you to continue exploring your own sources, your own insights with just boundless curiosity. Wealth isn't luck, it's strategy.